defensive bar early. Will have his fatal blow.
Oh my god, the throw as well. That was such a risky choice as well to block the sand trap because the overhead crushing blow is still there, but Alcatraz is making the read. He gets another downforce sand trap. Alcatraz is getting caught by this all the time.
Fatal blow! Double fatal blow territory! And Alcatraz going to the theater! And they just links up with it! Ominous with the pop-bomb! Fatal blow! Gonna take it 2-1 over Alcatraz!
I can't believe Alcatraz didn't go for the, he got the edgeware jump kick, but he didn't fatal blow. Should have just fatal blowed immediately, but isn't hindsight a wonderful thing as Ominous is gonna clutch out.
What's up, everybody? It's AD here, and I'm at Dreamhack Dallas 2019, joined by Griffin Williams, aka Ominous. So, firstly, tell me, what are your thoughts on Dreamhack so far this weekend? I know we're on the last day.
It was a really good event, actually. Like, this venue is huge, so it's a lot of people here. Like, a lot. It's more of a convention than just a just a bunch of tournaments. Like, you have the all the kids coming, bringing their own setups and whatnot. You have the food stands in there. You have the gigantic, it's like a truck, but like people are actually playing on setups in there. It's actually really cool. It's tons of like genres of games in there. So, it's just one big convention. Dreamhack's really cool. I really like it personally, so this is my first one too.
Yeah, well, this is my second one. I went to Dreamhack Austin last year, so I'm excited that they had another one in Texas, so it was nearby that we got to be able to catch. So, and they had, of course, a fighting game portion of this, and there were a few different games here, and of course, Mortal Kombat 11 being one of them. But before I get into the Mortal Kombat portion of this weekend, I want to go back because we're just coming off of Combo Breaker 1 week ago, and that was an exciting weekend for everybody. It was the first big tournament for the pro competition. However, we did also have that Texas versus Florida exhibition, so talk to me a little bit about how that got started and what your thoughts were getting that going.
Okay, so basically this happened, let's take it back to 2015-16 MKX, where Texas and Florida both had flourishing scenes. You had, from Texas, you had a lot of the underdogs, but you also had guys who were known, like myself and Scar, Cusco, some older guys like Star Charger Royale, who are still around, but they just couldn't make it to the event. But, Florida, they also had their scene, which is still a lot of guys that you guys know now. KP, Big D, Gross. Semijas is one of the newer additions, but he's a top player. Guys like Newbie, DR, these guys that have been around for a long time. And we were like, it was more of a regional pride thing, seen as like which scene was better. And, it was really cutting it close. Every game I felt like we cut it close. It wasn't a deciding factor. And me and KP being the representatives of both states and, also, long friends, we were like, for the competitive spirit, we were like, when are we actually going to do this? So MKX was more towards the end, so we never got to do it really. And Justice 2, we loved the game, but we didn't have as much support from both sides of the fence as far as competitive players and just people who consistently travel to play the game. And then, MK11 comes, the scene flourishes again, and we were like, it's time to do it. So we finally officially was like, let's do this 10v10, Combo Breaker. We've been planning basically for years and kind of dancing around ideas, and it came down to, let's do this at Combo Breaker, $100 a person, and KP set most of this up as far as promotion. So he's the workhorse as far as what went into it. Me just being the promoter for Texas and bringing hype, and so yeah, it happened Saturday night, and it was going down as one of the greatest events in fighting game history. So I really loved being a part of it.
Yeah, and we were happy to be there and see it. Not only the people at the tournament, but people watching at home. It looks like they were getting hype about it. I remember seeing everybody talking about it on Twitter, up to the point where now you have other regions trying to get something else started. They're kind of looking at, okay, the MK people, they did this. Let's try to get something going. So hopefully it can be something that can push something to the scene through not only our game, but other games as well, because people like to see stuff like that. They like to see that hype, and I was just glad I was able to be there and be a part of it. But you also competed that weekend as well. How did it go for you?
I did okay. I got 33rd, so I made it out of pools and winners, and then I lost to Semij and Han Rashid. So as a competitor, don't feel like I've been working as much. So it's kind of what made me make the decision to kind of take a step back as far as competing. But I still love the scene in general, and I still want to be able to compete and inspire other people, and mostly, just always show my face and be a leader for the scene. So as far as Combo Breaker, I feel like I did decent, but I could do better. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and another thing that we've seen from you recently was a huge announcement of this Patreon that you're starting with Scar as well as Kevo the Man. So tell me a little bit more about that, how you came up with that, and where you see things going.
Okay, so Sko Dojo is, first off, it's ridiculous, like how much support we've gotten, and the amount of planning that really went into it was kind of like 2 months of planning. And it was originally just Scar and Kevo, and I had my own thing. And, us all being basically family and close friends, they had their thing going, and I had planned on getting my own thing going as a personal brand. And I was like, let's put these things together. I'll do most of that admin work. You guys are just the faces, as, Scar just won Common Breaker. So that's a big push for the brand itself. And we were able to put this idea together and create one big brand for us, simply just to train other people and help them improve as far as getting to the next level as a player, because not everyone had the same opportunities that I had. Because Kevo was actually the person who taught me how to play fighting games correctly. And, Kevo's been kind of a mentor as far as, walking along the journey with Scar and his path to greatness, and Scar just being, the animal that he is as far as a great player and an icon in the scene. So for us, it was a no-brainer to just do a Patreon and be able to not only, of course, monetize the idea, but, help kind of create a movement in general to help the scene move forward and give people opportunities that they didn't have. And the support that we've had for it has been just something great. Like, I love what we are getting back, and people, being as grateful as they are to get the opportunity to, be able to train not only just with us, but just to get better in general, to have something as a resource. So we're giving everything we can to this Patreon and the people who support it. And it's been going great, so I love it. Been working on it daily, improving. It's not a finished product. It's like every day I feel like there's something we can improve on. So it's a movement, and it's a project at the same time. So.
And I'm excited to see something like that, because we've never seen that before, something be offered. And there are so many different skills that the three of you can offer to a new player who may not understand a lot about fighting games. When you're new to this, there's a lot to understand, and you don't know where to go, you don't know who to turn to. So I'm excited to see how far this goes, for you. And, you did mention how you may be focusing more on those aspects, and you did just make a post on Twitter today regarding that. So is this something that you have been thinking about for a while, whether switching your focus to providing to the community versus putting all your energy into competing?
Honestly, I feel like this is something that I've kind of been, like, a lot of the people who are closer to me kind of understand that I've been fighting back and forth for being a serious competitor or just being the guy who people know and can push things forward, push not only my personal brand, but, push the entire idea that the FGC is something great and can be greater than what it is. So as far as like being younger, all I did was play Mortal Kombat 9. I didn't really play Injustice 1, but Mortal Kombat X. So when I was, from 16 to like 20-ish is where I was just like serious competitor, trying to make top 8, trying to win something. And as I got older, I kind of understood, after working with GGA and my good friend, Dr. African Brian, that there was bigger things than just being a competitor. It kind of changed my focus to understand that there was something greater personally for me, and being able to kind of work behind the scenes and, kind of absorb all these ideas from different people who have been doing this for a long time and learning the business. I understood that, there's so much that I know as far as behind the scenes and also being a competitor and understanding both sides. So moving forward, I definitely would like to, focus more on, making the scene better and, giving more people opportunities. And also it's just from like not only just the little guys, but the bigger guys, because of how hard they work. And more so it's like they don't receive the amount of, work that's putting back in. It's like you're doing this great work, but you're not getting the same back. So I want to be able to push this forward and really be able to make this a living for a lot more people. than just, the few guys like the Sonic Foxes and the Scars who can, who just win and they dominate, but never the guys right under them who have to constantly grind, but not only that, but keep their personal life in order so that they can simply live their life, So that's what I want to do for the entire community, is make sure that everyone has something to work towards that's greater than what it is right now.
Sure. And you know what? Honestly, Ominous, the community is lucky to have somebody like you who is willing to kind of take that step back and say, you know what, there's a lot more to do here. There's a lot of opportunity, and I can help plenty of people be better and, move up the rankings as far as a better player. So we definitely appreciate it. I'm excited to see how far, you go putting into this. But that doesn't mean we won't see you pull out Geras anytime soon in a tournament, does it?
Geras boys.
Final questions, since I brought up Geras. Honest thoughts, because there's been a lot about where he stands in the game. And I feel like now that we're about a month out, a little over a month since the game has been released, what are your thoughts on where Geras stands? Because there's been a lot of debate.
Geras is in top 5.
That's it? That's all you got to say?
Okay, honestly. People will say, I'm downplaying, but here's my honest opinion. I think that when the game came out, Geras was the best free, and there was no counterplay to the character. The community is so, they think so much faster now, and they move, everyone's moving forward and players are getting better. So it's easy to just say, this character's dumb, he's top 3. Yes, he has the tools to be a top 3 character, but if we're looking at specific matchups and things that he struggles against, it's completely different from day one, where Sonic just picked up Geras and this character looked impossible to beat. But now you have these females coming along. Johnny Cage is an anti-Geras character. Cassie Cage, Jackie, Katana gives him a really hard time. And there's a couple other characters that actually make him play honest. I think that somebody that bullies the lower end of the cast and struggles with top tiers is not the definition of a top 5 character. Somebody who actually has bad matchups. Not to say that he doesn't do well against other cast members. He's just, when you stack him up with top tiers, he's impressive as far as his offense. His defense is great. The damage output is great. His, anything from neutral to just straight, brawling offense, he has that. But there's obvious counterplay to him now that wasn't existent 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, honestly. Mm-hmm. So to seeing, top 8 be all Geras, and to Combo Breaker top 8 only being the real Geras, only being Deoxys, that shows a lot about where this character actually is and how far the community has moved forward. Mm-hmm. So I think he's number 6. Mm-hmm. Or if you say number 5, then there's a reason behind it, and I don't have an issue if people say he's top 5. I just think that further thinking down the line, that the character's just number 6, which is still godlike. There's 10 characters in this game that are ridiculous, and it's not the end of the world if he's not top 5. It's not the end of the world if he is. People are moving forward. That's just what that is.
See, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to understand how to play against Geras, go ahead and join that Sko Dojo. This is the type of information and things that you'll be getting. So thank you so much, Ominous. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today. Thank you guys, everybody, for watching. I'll link everything we talked about down below, and I'll catch y'all next time.